Just hours ago, 3 Republican candidates for Michigan governor stood right here in our studio in our statewide debate. U.S. Representative John James, who is the frontrunner, traded jabs with former Michigan Attorney General Mike Cox and businessman Perry Johnson.
Cox and Johnson spent much of that hour on the attack against James, who's been endorsed by President Trump. A big issue was affordability. I spoke to each of them directly after the debate, asking about one issue they actually agree on.
I want to ask you about the state income tax. How realistic do you think it is to eliminate that?
Well, we have to take a first step, and the first step that I have is based on real numbers that we've gotten from the Auditor General and also the leadership in the House Oversight Committee. It's going to require cutting pork first, and so you look at the pet projects from politicians, that's $1.5 billion. When you look at the improper payments and fraud, that's another $0.85 billion. When you look at the unspent general funds, that's another $0.65 billion. Right off top, year one, that's a 20% tax cut, personal income tax cut, which takes us down into the threes and allows people to put more money back in their pockets.
It's very realistic because 9 states have already done it. You know, if you don't aspire to a goal, you never get to a goal. That's a simple rule of life. For too long here in Michigan, we've just expected too little. We've expected too little out of Lansing. We haven't held them to account. And that's going to change when I'm there. I'm going to set the goal out there, and I want people to hold me to it. I'm going to do things like I'm going to put all state spending online. I wish we could have got to transparency. So that I'm going to, you know, in essence, have 10 million people looking over my shoulder, checking everything myself and my team does in order to make life better here in Michigan.
I think it'll be one of the easiest things I've ever done in my life.
Why is that?
Because I think that we have so much going on in here to eliminate that it's mind-boggling. Keep in mind that right now, we didn't even have the mega audit going on in Minnesota, and they found $9 billion. We're almost twice their size. What are we even going to find here? So when you talk about a guy that's been doing this all my life, we're talking about a situation where we have had no one come in who's even an efficiency expert to do anything. But to have a guy like me, who literally is considered one of the top guys in the world, if not the #1 guy, it should be a cinch.
That was one of the viewer questions from last night. Amber Kriska did ask all 3 of those candidates how they would eliminate that tax without sacrificing government services.
All 3 said they thought lowering or eliminating taxes would help the economy grow.
We are now just 25 days away from the primary. Of course, a big question from the candidates, did they have any final messages to voters?
I gave them each an opportunity to make that final plea. Take a listen.
We're in the home stretch of this race. What's your final message to voters?
For Republican primary voters, if you want change, if you want to remove the darkness of the last 8 years, you have to support a winner, someone who can fight and win for you. I'm a product of the working class, and there's a heck of a lot more working class folks here in Michigan than there are CEO kids.
We have a great state. Let's lean the government so you get to keep your money. $4,747 every year to every typical family in Michigan. And this is what I want you to remember. People 65 and older who own their home, worked all their life and retired, should not have to pay property tax.
I would say that we are focused on you. When others are focused on me, I'm focused on you. And also, while they're attacking me, we're going to be attacking the issues. We really need to come together as a state and address the affordability, the education, and the health issues that we have. Mental health is a big deal. It's not getting the attention that it should. Our schools, our jails, and our hospitals aren't designed to handle the mental health of a strain. And as a combat veteran who's lost friends both in war and the unseen scars of war, I see our veterans. I'm here for our veterans, anybody else who's struggling with mental health. So really looking at affordability, looking at health, and looking at what it's going to take to bring all 10 million of us together for a more prosperous future.
No doubt Cox and Johnson went after James. The polls are pretty close. It's going to be an interesting stretch run.
Yeah, going to have to see. I think the election day is really how voters are feeling and how their messages resonated with them. All right. Well, supporters did watch that debate from bars here in Kent County. John James supporters filled Woodrow's Duckpin Bar while Mike Cox's crew was at Uccello's on Beltline. As far as we know, there was not a watch party that was scheduled for Perry Johnson. And now that you've heard directly from those candidates, it's your turn to decide before the August 4th primary. Following Tuesday night's U.S. Senate Democratic primary debate, we asked you the same question. Who do you think won? Viewers responded to that poll in droves. The night of the debate, Haley Stevens was winning, but when more people woke up after the debate, Abdul al-Sayed supporters cast their votes and he won the poll ultimately with 83%. And we do expect a similar outcome today. You can tell us who won the Michigan gubernatorial Republican primary debate right now by going to woodtv.com. Right there, looks like Mike Cox is still leading that right now. But to be fair, his campaign did push to this poll. And another note, these polls show us unweighed voter data, so it's not meant for research purposes, but rather just a scope to see how viewers who watch the debate are feeling. If you missed any of the debate week content here in Michigan, you can watch both of them right now in full by scanning the QR code on your screen, going to our website, or streaming on Wood TV Plus.